Now, as we start talking a little bit more in depth about packages, there are some considerations that you should take into account that you might run into issues. So first of all, packages are only as good if they're available. And what I mean by this is if you build your application around a package and maybe a specific version of a package, what happens if a week or a month or a year later, that package goes away for some reason, or that version of a package goes away? Remember when I was showing you Nuga.org, Newtonsoft.json had a lot of package versions inside of it. Well, what if I was reliant on one of those really old versions and James Newton King said, well, let's just get rid of these old versions in NuGet. No one's really downloading them anymore. Well, he has now broken your application because you can't physically get access to the old version of the file that you used to have. And this brings me to a story about a package called LeftPad. Depending on how much attention you were paying to the internet within the past couple of years, you might have already heard this story, but I think it's really entertaining because it has proven this potential issue time and time again. So LeftPad is an NPM package that basically has one job. What's that one job? Well, it pads strings. So if you tell it, I am going to give you a string and I need to pad so many characters in length. So foo is 3 characters long, but I really need a 5-character string. Let's pad the left side of it with 2 characters. So likewise, I have a number 17. I need to pad it with 5 characters, but I don't want spaces. I want the number 0. And LeftPad will do that for you. And I know what you're probably thinking, Kevin, this is 3 lines of code, if even that, to implement on my own. Why are they downloading a package to do this? Well, that is an excellent question. And there's an entire philosophy behind it. I don't particularly agree with it, but a lot of people use this because something happened. LeftPad was really popular. It was downloaded over 500,000 times in a single month. There was an issue with the organizer, the developer of the package. And he didn't mean to break the internet, but he decided in a fit of rage that he was going to remove all of his packages off of NPM, including LeftPad. Well, when he pulled LeftPad off of the NPM repository, there was a domino effect across the internet because a couple really big core packages in NPM, for example, Babel, which is a package that will translate ES6 or ES7 code to ES5. So we can support older browsers with newer JavaScript. Well, it relied on LeftPad. So every system that relied on a dependency that went and pulled down LeftPad, well, they all broke. And this isn't people sitting at their computers typing npm install LeftPad. These are build systems that are running automatically, and builds that would have normally successfully built are now failing because of this particular package no longer existing. And you can still go back through old GitHub issues and people say, hey, why is this not building? It's telling me it can't find LeftPad. And it all comes back to a Hacker News discussion where the organizer says, hey, I'm pulling down my package. I don't want to participate in this anymore. This triggered a cry throughout the community that this shouldn't technically happen. If you have a package up on the repository and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people rely on this package, simply being able to remove it can't happen because there are too many dependencies. So the NPM team came back and they made improvements to NPM to ensure that this would not happen again within the NPM infrastructure. This also opened up a huge vulnerability in the system, because let's imagine I was let's say a dishonest developer who wanted to see what I could do to inject some ill will onto the world. Well, when LeftPad was removed from the repository, that left a gap in the repository that could have been filled by a hacker who built a potentially bad package called leftpad, deploy it up to the package repository, or push it up to npm. And now all these build systems kick in and they download leftpad, and maybe my bad package still does what leftpad is supposed to do. However, I also inject some bad code that allows me a backdoor into any of their systems, or gives me critical information about their infrastructure, or tells me environment variables, which environment variables might have database codes or API keys. There's a lot of bad stuff I could do with having access to a very popular package up on a repository. So it's actually good that this happened, because everyone realized, wait, all this really bad stuff could have happened. So let's make sure that we prevent these issues from ever occurring. And so luckily, leftpad is no longer an issue.